Super exciting today. We have a great video that's going to show you how to take apart succulents if they're in an overgrown pot, just like this beautiful succulent pot that I have. So this is an easy process, but you need to know what you're doing so your succulents are able to thrive and you can get the most out of them. So let's get started. So you're going to start by cutting away some of the babies. These are also referred to as the chicks, and they are about this size. So that's a good size to start with. Some of the babies, if they are smaller than that, they might not have the great chance of surviving, but the size that I'm cutting and showing you are going to be perfect. So these chicks that we are cutting off, they do not have their own root system. You're just cutting them off of the mama plant, which is known as the hen, and it's just a stem. What you can do towards the end is pull off a couple of those leaves just so that you have about an inch of the stem exposed, and we're going to plant that right into the soil. I'm also going to use a little bit of fertilizer. This method is tried and true. It's the simplest and most cost effective, and all of these plants in my pictures came from one of these hen plants from last year, so it's definitely a great method. So now we're moving on to the bigger plants. I'm just using this garden tool to gently try to open up the root system just a little bit and get a good hand in there so that I can gently start to get as much underneath these plants as I can to really get the roots, and then you're going to see me just gently kind of tug them away from the other plants. So you can see that's a really great root system. That's why I love this particular succulent and all succulents in general. They're really hardy, they last all through the winter, and that is the fertilizer that I'm using. So what I'm doing is making an appropriate sized hole for this particular plant, and I'm doing just a little sprinkle of that fertilizer. I use an all-purpose soil, and that works wonderfully. If you already have, or if you want to purchase a cactus soil, you can get that as well, and they do wonderful in that also, but this all-purpose soil works just fine. What I tend to do is fill up the succulent with the soil almost to the base, maybe leave about a ½ inch underneath the succulent to prevent water rotting or anything like that, and you can even sprinkle on top of the soil just a little bit of small rocks, which also help to uphold it just a bit more as well. So as you probably saw, what I do with almost all of my pots is I put a couple pine cones into the bottom. So especially when you're working with succulents, this provides kind of a booster for the soil, and it provides an excellent drainage system so that you don't have tightly packed soil all throughout your plant. Succulents do have long roots, but they're not the type of roots that grow all the way into the bottom of the pot. They kind of will stop where the soil stops, or depending on the size of your plant, they'll usually grow about 6 inches down from the plant, and that's plenty of room for them to thrive. So this plant was in desperate need of having some more room to grow, which is why I'm so happy that I was able to make this video and to repot them and give this one more room to thrive, and it will put off more chicks. When I first got this plant about a year and a half ago, it was only about 2 inches big, and it has grown so huge and has given off so many chicks. But with them in the same pot with it, it was blocking the light and kind of smothering it. So underneath it, along the roots, there was just a lot of dry leaves, and you can just pull those off. With this plant and with any plant, anything that just gets pulled off easily is a pruning process, and you should definitely pull them off. Here, right around the base of the succulent, I'm just filling it up with some little tiny rocks that I had. You can use small rocks or bigger rocks, and for one, this is going to help stabilize the plant, but also with the draining process, it just helps so that you don't get water rot right underneath the plant, and it gives off a really pretty touch too. So here's the finished look of our succulent makeover. It's incredible how many little chicks were crammed into that pot. And again, this is why I love the hen and chick succulent plant, because it will just continue to reproduce. I am going to have a separate video on some pot ideas. I have a lot of great ideas of what you can do, how you can paint certain pots and really give your garden a makeover. You can basically stick a succulent into anything that has a drainage hole and it will do well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really enjoy making these videos for you. I love seeing your comments. If you want to follow me on Instagram, this YouTube's Insta is superiorhealth.savage, and I would love to see you there. Be sure to subscribe if this is your first time here. I make new videos every week, mostly about healthy eating, but the garden is healthy for you too, and it's one of my hobbies that I love as well, so I wanted to share with you guys. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in my next one.